Good morning and what's going down H-Town? It's your boy Swisher coming back at you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I will say this is my Texan thoughts. Now, first things first, I want to shout out to my boy Ray Ray, you know, El Sticky Lair, Ed Huncho, and everybody else that support and fuck with the Texans. You know, that's first and foremost. But what I want to talk about today is actually a few things. Sorry about that, man. My throat dry. But first things first, what my boy Ray Ray in his video, you know, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Rick is average at best, and it makes no sense that you've picked so many players and yet you've only re-signed a handful of them. That means you picked a guy, realized he couldn't amount to shit, so you either traded him or released him. Not good for business. It's just not. Anybody that knows the fundamentals of football, if you're a Texans fan and you understand the fundamentals of football, and then you, like me, you was very pissed when not only did Brandon Brooks walk out the door, but fucking Ben Jones did too. I mean, what the fuck? This is like I put him in the comment section of my boy Ray Ray's vid. I personally don't believe that Rick understands player value, and that's where he fucks himself and his team. Now, like it or not, this offensive line was better with Brooks and Ben Jones. Now, if you was gonna let anybody walk, you should have let Xavier suck ass walk. If you was gonna let anybody walk, you shouldn't have re-signed goddamn Derek Newton. I mean, you know, my boy Ray Ray, you know, he say, you know, he thinks it's the monster dreadlocks, the predator dreadlocks that got him re-signed. You know, that I kind of got a good laugh and joke out of that shit. You know, that actually made my day. I was high as a motherfucker. I had just, you know, started watching it. Yeah, shout out to my boy Ray Ray again on that, man. And I agree, man. I think his dreads or something, because it wasn't his performance on the field that got him paid. I don't know if he's fucking McNair's wife or something on the low. I don't know, man. I don't know. But he shouldn't have been re-signed. You know, that's just plain and simple. Going forward, though, and this is another part of why I believe and I say that Rick doesn't understand player value. You resign guys that wasn't shit before you gave them the money, and now what's even worse is you pay them and they still ain't shit. That's bothersome. That's bad fucking GMing, and that can put your team behind, at least, depending on what side of the ball you do it on, which Rick has consistently done on both sides. That's put us back, at least from my numbers and how I look at this team and overall as a whole, he's put us back at least 3-4 years. There was no fucking way that Jacksonville and Tennessee should be able to close the fucking gap between the Texans and them. Now, granted, I give Jacksonville all kinds of credit because they basically went through what we went through. They went through the hard times, the suck ass moments, you know, being ridiculed and talked about by everybody, and you know, sports analysts, you know, thinking that they ain't shit, you know, teams, other fans, fans of other teams thinking that they ain't shit. They went through that. So now they somewhat legit, and now, hey, like it or not, they're here. They're in our division. We gotta play them twice a year. I'm not about to sit here and make no bullshit ass excuse. Like I don't like, oh, this and this happened, so that's why they lost. No. Point blank simple, they've already addressed it and said, that just wasn't us. So, but like I said, just like with the Colts, how they suck for luck, the Jags have kind of, I don't know why, because the Jags could have been a lot better team than what they, people give them credit for. But they just, for some reason, they just had a tanking mentality, for like 5-6 years, and I don't get why, But hey, that's them. I'm worried about the Texans, But like I said, my thing is, with Jacksonville, it was inevitable. You couldn't see it was gonna happen, Just like with Houston, if you accumulate so many first round picks on one side of the ball in particular, of course that unit is gonna eventually crack the mold and, be great, or at least be good. They got to go through that good stage, before they hit that, they're a great defense. That's what I'm basically saying on that. Now, from an offensive standpoint, like I said, and also in my boy Ray's vid, I talked about, I was just in his comments, and I actually ran this about my boy Ed Huncho. He had forgot to do it on his stream, so I'm gonna just talk about it on here. Now, as you all know, I'm a huge Martavis Bryant fan. I truly believe in what he's capable of, and he is the next best thing, coming, the next best up and coming thing at wide receiver. Now, that's all true. He has Randy Moss ish like talent. There can only be one. Oh, sorry, damn it. There can only be one Randy. So, like I said, he has Randy Moss ish like talent from a height, speed, and hands perspective. Now, looking at it from a longevity standpoint, like I said, depending on how Rick decides to do things, I'm hoping he goes like the route of, when he was letting, older guys go, like Foster and them. He needs to do that again. If you want to earn the respect of the fan base, well, re-earn the respect of most of the fan base, these type of moves need to happen at least by the end of this year. I'm sorry, but there's no fucking way you can sit here and at least attempt to argue or debate about, the fact that Brian Cushing is still on the roster and Jaelen Strong is not. Jaelen Strong got hit for a weed incident that wasn't even in his possession, yet he somehow lands in Bill O'Brien's doghouse. Now, Mr. Meathead, aka Mr. Steroid, aka the one that you all know as Brian Cushing, has been hit for what? This would be his third PED of his career. I mean, what the fuck? You cut a guy who can at least bring some type of productivity down the field for you. That's another thing that I didn't understand, and this is what I blame on not just Rick Smith but Bill O'Brien. Jaelen Strong was not a Bruce Ellington type receiver. He was not good for the short yardage game. That's how they was using him and shit. That's not his game. His game is going down the field, winning 50-50 jump balls. You think I'm lying? Go turn on all the highlights you see of Jaelen Strong. He's high pointing it one-on-one and winning his one-on-one matchups. He was doing it in college. He did it in the pros. He was a consistent fucking coke killer. And we cut him for what? For a fucking PED user? A guy that we can't fucking use for 10 games? A guy that we're still fucking paying top linebacker money to. Mind y'all, Jalen Strong was still on a rookie contract. Management up top. Those are the type of decisions that I'm talking about. The year that we got Cushion, I wanted Clay Matthews, and we had an opportunity to get him. In fact, no, I might be lying on that. I think Green Bay did pick ahead of us that year. But, I mean, looking at guys like Kareem Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, him and Sam Shields came out around the same time, if not the same year. Shields was the better athlete. Kareem just so happened to be on a always stacked Alabama team. Alabama goes on to win a national championship. Kareem gets drafted in the first round. Career-wise, Sam Shields has a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Kareem does not with the Houston Texans. Sam Shields hardly ever has tape of him being burned. Almost every Patriots game, you see Kareem get burned. And speaking on the goddamn Patriots game, see, Kareem, I don't know, and I'm going to talk about this shit because I'm starting to wonder if you low-key fucking Brady on the low. Because some form or fashion, you're the reason why we end up getting fucked by the Patriots. Go back and look at the last play. Yeah, initially, we all thought it was Corey Moore. Yes, Corey Moore can receive some blame because he could have dropped the pick and therefore that play never gets the opportunity to manifest in the first place. Yes, he received blame there. But on the game-winning so-called touchdown, because it wasn't. In fact, actually, both touchdowns where Hogan had not Hogan. Yeah, I think Hogan. Yeah, the one where he had the angle on Hal, that wasn't a touchdown, and the last one to Cooks wasn't a touchdown. Last time I checked, you have to maintain the possession. The ball cannot move regardless of whether you hit the ground or not. You have to remain, you have to control the ball all the way through, and it was clear that the ball moved. I'm not saying that because I'm a Texans fan. I'm saying that because that's just the way the that's the way the NFL rules are. It's funny how the NFL rules somehow get bent or they just seem to be nullified whenever the Patriots are playing. But, that's neither here or there. I'll talk about that another time. Overall, man, it's because I'm coming off in 14 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this one short. I'm gonna talk about, what I was meaning to talk about with Ed Honcho on my next video. So I'm about to start that one now. As per usual, like, sub, peace, and drop a comment in the comment section below.